Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. And as you can see, this is the first video in a long time, and I guess you know all reason behind that. And today I would like to talk about important topic for me: how different are the cultures and mentalities of Ukrainians and Russians. So let's start. Russian propaganda has been working hard to convince everybody that Ukrainians and Russians are the same nation.
Что русские и украинцы это действительно один народ. Народ одной истории, одной культуры.
But here the Russians fall into their own trap, as in fact our culture and mentality are radically different. And it's easy to notice just by looking into customs and folklore of both nations. So let's start with the ancient time when ethnic groups were formed. Of course, there's no clear crystal nations, all have mixtures, but Ukrainian and Russian mixtures are totally different. Ukrainians are based on Slavic tribes, while Russians based mostly on Finno-Ugric tribes and very little Slavic tribes. This has survived very little, practically dissolved, because it was very difficult to resist the genes of other ethnic groups, which are not actually typical for the Slavic behavior. And it is folklore that shows the best how mentally we and our good neighbors are differ from each other. But the contrived resemblance and stolen history of Kievska Rus gave the Russians such a desirable confirmation of their mythical Slavic nation, which in reality never existed. Very often Russians try to find something in common in Ukrainian and Russian folklore, that everything stopped in front of the wall of facts. Of all Slavic ethnic groups, in reality Russians and Ukrainians are the most different. The biggest difference in mentality grew out of the way of life. The ancestors of the Ukrainian ethnic group were farmers, while the Russian nomads. Those are two completely different mentalities. The style of thinking that we have now and behavior, it is rooted in the way of life. The nomad used to travel and had no permanent values, a completely different type of life and behavior. And this way of life was logically reflected in the Russian folklores. Russians have a long cycle of romance songs. This element of culture has not gone anywhere in modern Russia. In Ukraine, all rituals were tied to land and growing plants. Wedding is another rite that differs significantly between Ukrainians and Russians. Ukrainian wedding began with a song, God bless us to start a wedding, while Russian wedding started with, first I will bow to the king father, the second time I will bow to the queen mother, while the married couple is pushed to the background. There are 4 criteria by which researchers distinguish the mentality of different nations: view of public life, view of religion, attitude toward nature, and attitude toward women. Ukrainians are incompatible with Russians on all 4 criteria.
Oh my God!
The European types of culture that Ukrainians have is primarily respect person and his or her freedom. We also have different approaches to public life. For Ukrainians, it is a community or sum of individuals, but at the same time, each member of community doesn't lose his or her individuality. In Russia, how they used to say, tarred with the same brush, it means people supposed to be identical, similar to one another, so they could exist like only the Russian mode. Unquestioning worship of Tsar or King was a characteristic of Russia, but not of Ukraine. In Ukraine, for example, Hetman was not worshipped, he could be openly objected to. Another different point between Ukrainians and Russian, it is view of religion. Me personally, I don't think that I need even to mention anything.
Россия никогда ни на кого не нападала.
This is probably the biggest stumbling block for Russians. In our Soviet rituals, we always sang about girls' beauty, intelligence, and raised the importance of women. This is a typical feature of Ukrainian folklore when woman is idealized. Russia doesn't have such glorification of women at all. Men and women in Ukraine have historically had equal rights. While in Russian traditions, a man rules a woman. This is reflected even in the language. In Ukraine, we have the expression marry with woman that shows the equality. The adjective with indicates the union of two equal people. In Russia, they say marry on women, supreme, above, subordinate. In Ukrainian society, woman could represent house in the community. The attitude towards women in Russia was completely different. It may be a bit rude, but women were treated as interior objects that can do housework. This is one phrase commonly used in Russia, which basically explained everything about attitude Russians toward women. If he beats you, means he loves you. The first thing that raises a child from birth is fairy tale. Even the heroes of fairy tales of each nation have different behaviors. In Ukraine, the predominant character are those who have to work hard, be smart, be good, in order to be rewarded. In Russian fairy tales, the characters are passively waiting for a miracle, and they have been rewarded just like that, without explanation why something will fall just from the sky by accident. And this is the main feature also that develops your mentality, because you can see that you can get something without working hard. It will stimulate your behavior. So at the end, what I'm leading to, that Ukrainian and Russian nations are totally different. And that's it for today, guys. Just at last, I want to say one person who commented that, maybe stop posting about Ukraine, we are tired to see that. I'm sorry, guys, but maybe you forgot that I'm from Ukraine. So, sorry, but I will always post about Ukraine.